You won't believe this. An unexpected twist just revealed something super cool. The drone captured the code on Sangbiao's computer screen that he attacked in the election system. This is a clever move. The external network prefix shows that his captors plan to transfer the assets overseas. Walter successfully tracked Sangbiao's IP address, hacked into the camera, and discovered the two captives were beating him up for leaking info. Unfortunately, there was no sound, so they had no idea what was being said. At that moment, Walter noticed the chip bag on the table, which would vibrate with the sounds, making him think he could guess the conversation. The Scorpio team understood immediately, while Morgan and Xiaomei were confused. This shows the gap between ordinary folks and exceptional geniuses. Walter told Morgan to just recite all key info to the bag. Big Chiang quickly pieced together a word related to stock trading using the wave patterns, leaving everyone astonished. These two fugitives clearly valued Sangbiao's skills and wanted to use his tech to implant a virus in the exchange and cash in big. However, the consequences of a genius being exploited could be catastrophic, and the exchange's software is getting an update next month, making Sangbiao's This explains their timing. Once Sangbiao codes, he risks harm. They must alert him. Big Chiang seized the moment and flashed the camera light, making Sangbiao get it instantly, tapping his head to send a Morse code. Just then, however, Morgan got a message. The finance department traced the overseas account, and the holder was Sangbiao himself. It seems he staged it all. The goal was to find these two fugitives as scapegoats and make a killing off the stock exchange. Even if he got caught, he could pin the blame. 10 months later, and he'd be worth billions upon release. A plan well laid, but had run into the genius Scorpio team. Morgan immediately rushed to the scene with SWAT. As they set off, Little Beard recalled, 5 has 3, 6 has 4 touch points. Sangbiao should have told them about Building 6, but it was too late. 5 and 6 were complete opposites. To stop Sangbiao, the Scorpio team took action, heading to Building 6. Walter hacked his systems via remote, and Big Chiang threw in a fuel bottle. Quick press of the remote, and the place was engulfed in flames, leaving the fugitives no choice but to flee the building. Turns out Liu Bo used physical reflection. I'd expect it. Infrared, posing as a scope, scared fugitives, but the laptop battery died, revealing the trick. With their rifles, they unleashed a barrage of attacks, but ultimately, under the immense firepower, the Scorpio team, poor at combat, had to surrender. The fugitives planned to confine them to destroy evidence, when suddenly, a hail of bullets rained. Morgan found Building 5 empty. Returning, he saw Scorpio team gunmen follow tire tracks here, witnessing this scene. Ordinary folks, Sangbiao with an IQ of 150 might seem outrageous, but in front of the Scorpio, it's like an adult watching kindergartners. Just then, a man was working on a rocket, and suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the ignition device. This damaged key control circuits. Rocket launched near. Walter tried to stop it, but too late. To avoid being burnt, he closed the hatch and flew to space. Now, his only survival chance was to separate the cabin from the rocket before it reached space, and then use a parachute to glide back down. But, of course, the rocket was. Walter activated backup systems to regain control. As the bar filled, the rocket recovered it just before he engaged the escape mechanism. The system displayed a parachute malfunction. Liu Bo back at the base noticed this and rushed to stop it, seeing the button light went off. Walter sighed with relief but had to follow the rocket into space. The upside? He could reach low Earth orbit, giving him a survival chance. Bad news, the rocket, fueled to 2/3 for testing, will crash in 26 hours. Worse, its comms were damaged. To save him, they needed to restore communication. Morgan suggested using an Air Force wax to fill the communication gap. The officer said, I have a plane, not your equipment. Liu Bo then saw a news van and got a great idea. He drove the van off before reporters' eyes. 5 minutes later, a plane took it to 10,000 meters thanks to Liu Bo's training. They successfully re-established contact with Walter. Yet, before 2 words, Walter heard a bang outside and jumped up to check. Everyone puzzled, how could someone knock in space? Then, Little Beard noticed oxygen dropping. It likely occurred during launch. The bang was probably a hallucination. Indeed, Walter's brain pressure rose from oxygen loss. Within 30 minutes, had died from oxygen loss, with increasingly wild hallucinations, like Xiaomei's dreamy appearance, as oxygen dropped. His hallucinations turned bizarre in this romantic space setting. He was dancing with his dream girl. The Scorpio team was dumbfounded. There was Walter flailing around in the air, his expression utterly ridiculous. Suddenly, Big Chiang excitedly noticed there was a satellite on a collision course with the rocket. Once they collided, he could hack into the satellite to send oxygen, as long as he could get Walter to pull that blue lever. But with love on his mind, Walter couldn't hear a thing. Just then, Xiaomei arrived at the base, and Little Beard knew the savior had come. He asked Xiaomei to guide Walter to pull the blue lever, detailing the process, and she started. With Xiao Mei's persuasion, Walter finally pulled the lever. Big Xian hacked the satellite and guided it into the rocket's hold. But it was too late. Walter was in shock. When the satellite reached the hold, it was useless. Emergency protocol had to be initiated. Plan: open hatch. Use air pressure to suck Walter out so he can breathe, but without a parachute, he's doomed. What to do? The former Navy SEAL chimed in. I've got a plan. Just calculate our overlap timing, and I can jump freefall to catch him. Big Xian scoffed. Not realistic. By the time you take off, Walter will be flying off to another planet. Morgan Alliance and the Wax said, I can do it. I've trained in special parachuting, but it needs super precise calculations. Big Xian got Morgan's flying speed along with Walter's capsule falling speed, factoring in the air conditions, and accurately calculated the timing. He told Morgan to jump first. Moments later, everyone remotely opened the capsule door. Assuming all goes well, the miracle's about to happen. Walter, in his dream, hasn't woken yet, holding Xiao Mei's hand tight.